First of all, Aries is the first zodiac sign. Aries is also the first house of Kalpurush Kundli. It is a fiery sign. Its span is from 0 degree to 30 degree. It is a movable sign, 4-footed. The element of Aries is fiery. And also the lord of Aries, which is Mars, is a fiery planet. So Aries has double influence of the element of fire. Aries is the point, is the sign where even sun exalts. So you can understand the gravitation, the power of the sign of Aries. Aries or the ascendant is the powerhouse of your zodiac, of your horoscope. You should not ignore any affliction which is happening in the sign of Aries. Because understand something, that whenever the sign of Aries get afflicted, this affliction is double, because the sign of Aries is getting afflicted, and the first house of Kalpurush Kundli is also getting afflicted simultaneously. Similarly, if there is a major benefic influence on the sign of Aries, that should also be treated in a double manner, that the first house of the Kalpurush Kundli is also having a benefic influence. I hope I'm clear. Now moving forward, Aries is the sign where metamorphosis take place, where evolution take place, where birth take place. Aries is the sign which germinates everything new in our life. If Aries is your ascendant, you are like a newborn kid who is full of energy and vigor, who has just landed into the world and ready to take upon it. To understand the energy of Aries, we should look at the newborn child. How playful, how inquisitive, how dynamically moving a newborn baby is. That is the condition of the sign of Aries. It always seeks attention, demand full vigor, demand spontaneity, demand continuous movement. To initiate the energy of Aries, you should give the first cry of the child in that house. So, whenever an Aries ascendant person would try to initiate anything big in his or her life, they have to go through a metamorphosis kind of a scenario. The process of turning into a butterfly from larva, that pain of development they have to undergo to actually stand on their foot and initiate the journey of life. Same goes with the Libra ascendant people in terms of relationships. Understand one thing, that wherever the sign of Aries fall, that is the point That is the house to initiate which you have to give complete power. And that is the house from which your evolution will start. Your personality will shape up. After taking place of the birth, the shaping up of personality takes place in Aries. The events which take place in the house wherever Aries fall are the building block for your personality. Whichever ascendant you are, doesn't matter. For example, taking Libra ascendant, the kind of relation a Libra ascendant fall into will shape up their personality. They'll be highly impacted by the relations they're gonna have in their life. There the evolution will strike them hard. The chiseling of a stone and making up a statue happens in Aries. So let's say for Gemini ascendant people, Aries fall in the 11th house. Their evolution will start by sudden event of high gains or high loss. Or you can say their occupation will shape them up. Anything which needs initiation should derive the power from the sign of Aries. Let's say for Aquarius ascendant people, Aries fall in the 3rd house. So we can say the evolution of their personality starts maybe by an event which they had with their sibling. Good or bad, that depends upon the affliction and beneficence on the sign of Aries, the condition of Mars as well. But something to do with the sibling, something to do with their own courage. Sometimes their own courage is the most restraining part in the growth of an Aquarius ascendant. The first step towards their courage, a first courageous step, will be directly proportional to the growth in their occupation. Because whatever action you do in Aries will yield result in Scorpio. And Scorpio for an Aquarius ascendant falls in the 10th house. Let's say for Virgo ascendant, their evolution will start by sudden events which will take place in their life. Something which will strike them out of the blue. A Virgo ascendant person would be sleeping and dreaming about maybe some crazy dreams, and suddenly the phone rings and he get to know that okay, something really shocking has happened and you need to be here, and the life takes a completely different turn from there on. That is the story for Virgo ascendant, because Aries fall in their 8th house. Some story of inheritance is always playing in the background for Virgo ascendant, which is transforming them day in and day out. To understand the sign of Aries, we should understand the energy which drives this sign. The energy is of mass, which is all about commanding, dominating, imposing their viewpoint. So for an Libra ascendant people, their spouse will always be commanding, lot of demands from them, and always imposing their point of view on the Libra ascendant people. That's the kind of spouse you'll be getting. A burning pot of energy, full of enthusiasm, always seeking for something new, always on the move, movement which is taking you toward growth. Aries is the sign which works upon continuous progress. There is no halt in Aries. They have to be on the run continuously. So if Libra ascendant person think that they will enjoy life with a 9 to 5 kind of a guy, just forget it. Because the energy in your 7th house is such that even if your spouse is working in a kind of MNC or having a government job or something like that, they will develop separate set of skills to keep them busy even after the office hours. So Libra ascendant people always have to be on their toes to cooperate, to be in sync with their spouse. Similar is the trait for Aries ascendant. To dissipate the amount of energy they have, Aries ascendant people, they always develop some additional set of hobbies, and that is very mandatory also. To initiate anything in your life, you have to look towards the sign of Aries, because that is the powerhouse from where you derive all your energy and sustenance. Sun, the king of the planets, exalt in this sign. So understand the kind of energy you are dealing with. The planet of patience, slow movement, steady growth debilitates in the sign of Aries. So forget about stability wherever Aries fall. Aries fall in your 4th house, forget about having a stable home. To maintain a stable relationship, Libra ascendant have to work a lot. They have to channelize themselves with the energy of Mars and Aries. Aries in the 11th house, forget about a steady income. Lot of energy, lot of input has to be given wherever Aries fall. The maximum amount of energy is to be given to that house. That will always be your point of concentration, where you have to always give attention, because you understand Aries is the newborn child. And how is a newborn child? You always have to take care of that newborn infant in your family. You always have to look upon him, check upon him or her. And how to understand the characteristic of Aries? Try to read a newborn baby. How inquisitive a baby is. Always full of energy, playful, looking here and there, trying to analyze whatever is going around. Always aware of the surrounding. That is the attribute or characteristic of a Aries Ascendant. Or the characteristic of the spouse of Libra Ascendant. Always inquisitive, always in the mode of inquiry, always open for receiving information. To initiate anything, you first have to gather information. The gathering of information takes place in Aries. You gather information in Aries. You gather the acumen in Aries. And then you turn it into Taurus. Then the energy of Taurus comes in. After you collect, receive all the information to move forward. Aries has to move forward, always. Moving, seeing new dimensions, taking up new adventures. And understand, whenever you start something, the amount of energy you're having at the start of anything is unmatched. You'll never have that kind of enthusiasm, that kind of energy ever in life again. Only the starting phase will have that spur of energy. But I've also seen that Aries Ascendant people, though they are very energetic, very go-getters, but they'll seek regular intervals. Like there is a push and surge of energy, and then they need a halt to rejuvenate. So wherever Aries falls in your chart, you need to give regular rejuvenation to enjoy the attribute of that house. So for Libra Ascendant people, rejuvenation in the relation is very mandatory to keep the harmony of the relation. You always need to improvise in a relation to let it keep working. You cannot get stagnant if Aries is in your 7th house or if Aries is your ascendant. If you get stagnant, you're gone. If you think you lead a monotonous life, finished. Aries is anything but monotonous. So if Aries fall in your 10th house, you cannot have a monotonous, repetitive occupation. You'd love to have an occupation where you're interacting with 10 different people on monthly basis. Where you can showcase your personality. That is the occupation you love if you have Aries in your 10th house. Aries is also about display, because whenever you take birth, you come under the purview and the eyes of the world. You show up. So you have to show up in Aries. So Libra Ascendant people always have to show up for their spouse. Aries will test you and land you in situation where you have to stand up for yourself. You have to show up. And how easy or hard this will be for you depends upon the affliction Aries is having, the position of Mars as well. Aries is also the sign of transformation. Understand one thing. We always say Scorpio is the sign of transformation. But understand, Aries as well is the sign of transformation. Here the transformation, in Aries the transformation is of taking the birth, starting it up. Whereas Scorpio is the transformation of ending it, the completion of it. The start and the end, both of them needs the Martian energy. So one thing I can also add, that while calculating longevity or the spirit of sustenance of anything, you should always check the ascendant and the sign of Aries as well. It is very crucial. This is a very subtle point which I'm making, but you can keep this in mind while making analysis on any chart. Okay. Now let's go further and talk about the attribute of Aries. They're dynamic, creative, independent. They know how to impose their personality. Very independent, very adventurous, very courageous. They can take up any task, any risk, head on, bring it. Aries people, Aries ascendant people, bring anything on. It should just prick them at the right point, trigger them at the right point, and they're ready to do anything. They're ready to take any plunge for you. So the Libra ascendant people should be very cautious to let their spouse make decisions for them, because Aries being in the 7th house, it is very natural for their spouse to take decision in heat of the moment. In spurge of happiness, they can commit anything which later on can land you in trouble, right? So you should tame the energy of Aries for going into this way, that they cannot control the spontaneity of their action, which can sometimes lead them into trouble. Though in current scenario, in this era and age, energy and spontaneity is taken in a very positive sense. Risk takers, high risk takers, very assertive, very frank and very bold to the point of rudeness. Aries people, Aries ascendant people will always speak up their heart. They cannot keep something in their heart and then actually show something else on their face. They're on your face, and this sometimes lends them into trouble, but this is what they are. Similarly, if Aries starts you giving problem, if the sign of Aries starts giving you problem, or whichever sign Aries sits in, that house is afflicted and starts giving you problem, that problem will be seen by the masses. Like, you can't hide it. It will be out there for everyone to judge. So even the slightest tiff in the relation of a Libra Ascendant person would be out there for display to be judged by the public. For Aquarius Ascendant people, any mistake they do will be out there to be judged by the public. Okay, so that is also one thing which we should keep in mind. Burst of energy is Aries. If we have to see where is the point of energy in your chart, look where Aries falls. That is the point, that is the house which will start giving you result instantly, because there is already a push, a surge of energy in that house. Just a little effort will start it. So that means for Libra Ascendant people, just little effort can get them into relations. Obviously, if it is not afflicted, Aries is not afflicted. So wherever Aries fall, little effort can initiate that thing. So if it's Aries in your 10th house, just a little effort at the right moment and continuity of making effort can land you in a very good career. Okay. If Mars is strong, Aries is strong, you'll always have an athletic body. Very health conscious they are. And generally also take, if your Aries is uninflicted, it's in a good house, Aries is falling in a good house, you'll always be very, very, cautious about your health and well-being, about your physical personality, things which is actually can be looked upon, how you dress, how lean you are, that is all about Aries. Very prone to gymming, etc. Aries people are not at all indecisive. Instant decision is all about Aries. So wherever Aries fall in your chart, there once in your life you have to take an instant decision, right now or never kind of a scenario, wherever Aries fall in your chart. So for an Virgo Ascendant people, there might be some inheritance issue where they have to take the decision right now or never. They might be standing at a junction from which, if they turn left or right, it can actually devastate their life or transform their life forever. For Aquarius people, third house, they'll stand at one point of courage, where taking that step courageously can transform their occupation forever or can destroy it forever as well. But there has to be the situation of now or never wherever Aries fall. For Libra Ascendant, once in their relation, they'll have this opportunity of now or never. Either you have this relation right now or it is gone forever. That is a very subtle point we should understand. What else can I tell you? They're always, Aries is always the hero of your chart. You can say that. That is the protagonist sign. Because it is just like ascendant. the natural first house of Kalpurush has to be the hero of your chart. They have to display, Aries people have to display their power. That is where they derive their energy from. Displaying of power, executing their authority, executing their dominance. So Libra people get very dominating spouse. They want to rule not only mentally but physically as well. Physical strength is very crucial for them. And they are a huge risk taker. They can help the other person spontaneously, no hesitation. If they are ready for it, they are in for it, they are in for it. This is a hind rising sign. So if a planet is sitting in this house, in this Aries sign, because it's a hind rising, the result will generally come at a later stage in life. So if 10th house falls in Aries and there is a planet sitting in your 10th house, the attribute of that planet comes later in your age. So late bloomer, people who are late bloomers are also generally people who have Aries in their crucial houses. That is also a scenario. So I can keep going on and on about Aries, but I'll take it in another video. I think the video is going way too lengthy, 34 minutes already. So we'll continue. And this is how you start amalgamating the strength, the attributes of the sign with the house it's falling in. Synchronize all these parameters and come out with stunning predictions. First, understand the subtle way a sign works. Take the energy of the sign from its symbol, its tattva, the movement it have, and it is very easy to decode it after that. Just understand, I just told you that Aries is a Prishtodaya, it's a hind rising sign. So if a planet is sitting in Aries, it will deliver you result with a delay. So if 7th Lord is in Aries, if you get married early, it will be troublesome for you. So go according with the nature of sign and enjoy and reap the benefit. That is what astrology is for, to understand the flow of the river and float accordingly. That's all. Jai Shri Ram. See you in another video. Take care.